Sees The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead, now you got Overkill's The Walking Dead. New thing called Makai Vegas The Walking Dead. Except this is only gonna last 5 minutes. Cause as soon as the zombies show up, I'm out. Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of The Hype Train. I am your host, Makai Vega, and this week's game is a little something called Overkill's The Walking Dead. Now, those of you familiar with this series know that Robert Kirkman, creator of the famed franchise, has gotten together with Overkill, the creators of Payday, to create a co-op survival zombie game featured in The Walking Dead's very own universe. Wow, that sounds like something special. And let me tell you why. The drama, the grit, the deep, depressing nature of what a zombie apocalypse actually would be. It wouldn't be awesome, no, it would be terrible. All your friends and family would die, and you would feel very sad a lot of the time. And Robert Kirkman has always been one to bring out the true nitty-gritty nature of the series, and that's part of the reason why I've been able to fall in love with it. And for those of you older gamers who know about the game Left 4 Dead 2, so you know a little something about first-person co-op zombie games. They can be extremely fun once you get in there with all your friends and just like slaying zombies in the face and chopping them, killing them like that, you know what I'm saying? But here's the difference. Overkill's The Walking Dead, it's a lot darker, a lot more depressing. You'll be in your feels. You won't know what's going on. It'll be nitty, you'll be in the gritty, and the game will be litty. Ooh. Onward! This game will be set in post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. after everything has gone to absolute heck and the zombies have basically taken over the world. You will take control of one of 4 survivors, and you will evolve into this world to try and raise and build a camp while ensuring your own survival in this deadly universe full of zombies and people alike that are both trying to for you up. And in this game, teamwork will be paramount as you and 3 friends, possibly AI, go through this war-torn city to try to accomplish various tasks and missions to ensure the survival of your camp as you uncover the mysteries and depth behind what has really caused this zombie apocalypse. And like I said a moment ago, you will get 4 characters, each of which have their very own personalities, strengths, and abilities. So why don't we go ahead and meet the cast? For the people that have seen the first reveal trailer, you know of the character known as Aiden. I really like Aiden. No, not because he's black. Aiden just looks like a down and dirty character, just straight full of angst and but he's like cool, quiet, calculated, and angry. That's a bad combination, my guy. He's gonna be like my main character, no doubt. Not because he's black. I can't stress that enough. Not because he's black. But Aiden will also play as the tank of the group. He has more health than the other characters. I think you get about 4 bars of health when everyone else gets 3. He also carries a flashbang that can stun and disorient enemies, whether they be human or zombos, which I don't really know if zombos will be affected by flashbangs. Like, I don't know how that really works in the universe, you know?
Give me the key.
The bag.
The key.
My bag.
Then you have Heather, who is the scout. And if you've seen the Heather trailer, oh man, this woman's a beast. She's a beast with no neck. Oh, she took out those people ruthlessly, without a goddamn care. If I had to compare her to anything, she'd be like Carol from the TV series. Pretty. It's one you don't want to mess with. She's the one really good at spotting traps and loot that you'll find throughout the map. And also she carries a smoke grenade that could possibly conceal you from enemies, you know. Then you have Maya, who was the pretty, innocent, nice little nurse before everything went down. But as soon as everything went to crud, she took a gun and she blasted her way through all the zombies. She even had to kill her friend who was also a doctor. But as you can probably assume, she will be the support of the group. She can revive people faster, and she can also drop sort of a med pack that'll allow people to heal. Good lord, these people are carrying around Call of Duty level of tactical equipment. But last and certainly not least, you have poor old Grant. Grant is out of his goddamn mind. I believe he lost his nephew.
Nope.
Right before all of this happened, and he went out on a search to look for him. And he's been alone for so long that he's kind of gone kooky. He's kind of been like talking to zombos like they're still people or something, and having good old conversations. But I don't know if that's just a thing that happened in The Walking Dead. But like, man might be off his clocker. But he might be cool. He might be one of those like cool insane people where he's like, he's only insane when he wants to be. Yo, what up, Grant? And he's just like, what's up? And then another time you'd be like, yo, what up, Grant? He'd be like, the cuckoo clock said he's serving pancakes. Ooh. Grant is like the tactician of the group. He can call out enemy weaknesses and spot weak points. And he also comes with a nice little Molotov that he can fling at enemies to light them on fire like a madman. A big emphasis about this game is on its characters. Robert Kirkman liked these characters so much that he made them canon in the actual Walking Dead universe. So that means everything in this game is very real as it pertains to the actual story of The Walking Dead. So all these characters exist in that universe. It's not separate. I mean, it's nothing like any of the other games or the TV shows, but it is very real in that universe. But as we continue to talk about characters, let's talk about the extensive character progression in this game. Much like other games, character progression in this game is broken into a character progression tree. One tree in which you can upgrade the characters like regular abilities like health, defense, melee, attack power, all that good stuff. Then in another one, you can progress their character's specific abilities. Like I said before, Item the tank, Maya the support, Grant the tactician, and Heather the scout. But along with progressing your characters and upgrading them, you must also upgrade your camp and manage that. That is a whole separate system in this game. It's almost like a mini game of sorts where you have to manage and support your camp in sort of like a management style of gameplay. You have to select who does what, who goes where, who goes out on missions, who manages crops, who manages security, who manages all yada yada yada. But you know, along with managing your playable characters, you also have to manage everyone in your camp who you cannot play as. And that will be interesting to see if that in any way ties in to the actual story progression of the game. Like say if someone in your camp dies, then you can't like go and do like a certain thing that you would only be able to do with them. I wonder if they'll implement some of that gameplay. I haven't seen any of that as far as like the beta. All you could see was basically straight gameplay, not really go too in depth with the whole camp system they got going on. But it's definitely interesting to see how pivotal that would be to the actual gameplay. I know it does have an effect on the player progression tree, like that you can only get certain skills and abilities if your camp has certain skills and abilities. And that's a pretty nice tie-in. But speaking of gameplay, if any of you all have seen gameplay from the beta that is recently released, you would know that this game is a simple first-person shooter with zombos. Now, these zombos are relatively slow. Why? Because they're Walking Dead zombos, so that means they're just... as opposed to like the Last of Us zombos, which are like... or even Left 4 Dead zombos, which are like... But yeah, the zombos, they're pretty useless and easy to deal with on their own. But as many of them just take one quick bullet to the head, much like the actual series. And if you're hitting them with a melee weapon, depending on the weapon, it'll usually take 2 shots to bust that brain. But your head must be thorough. So, but much as other zombie games recently have been implementing, you can't just go swinging back and forth like you ain't got no sense, because you do have a melee stamina meter that prevents you from just going all ham on these zombos and busting these brains, you know what I'm saying? So you only really get a certain amount of swings, so you gotta make them count. But one thing that I did notice in the beta is that there's no reticle on melee weapons, so you kind of just gotta center the swing and then aim and hope that it hits your target. I guess that's sort of realistic, but it's also kind of unnecessarily difficult to not have a reticle in the middle of the screen, because at this point we're all just used to that. Like, you don't want a situation where you're just like aiming at a body part and just like hoping for the best. But going along with the Left 4 Dead 2 feel, there are indeed special zombies such as armored zombies, and bloater zombies. Guns do have reticles, and there is definitely an advantage to using guns over melee weapons, as guns obviously do way more damage with more accuracy. You will be able to kill zombies quicker and easier than, say, if you had a hammer trying to bust some brains. That's like my catchphrase for this game. We're gonna go in there, we're gonna bust some brains. You ready to go bust some brains? Let's go bust some brains. But there is a pretty fat, with the PH, fat disadvantage to using guns. There is a noise system that will definitely attract zombies. It is called the hordometer. That can obviously be mistaken for something else, but we're just going to go with it. But the hordometer is a noise system that tracks the amount of noise you are making. And if it fills all the way to the top, obviously you will attract a big, fat, with a PH, horde of zombies that will attack you and try to eat your face. But I like my face. Well, then you might not want to fill up that hordometer then, because these zombies will attack in bulk. And it looks to me like a big horde of zombies is your worst nightmare in this game. Just like how it would be in real life. If a big fat herd started attacking you, you would not be able to do a dang thing. And it's pretty similar in this game, as a horde of zombies can quickly overtake you and put you down for the count. Hordes are definitely not easy to deal with in this game. It takes a pretty good amount of energy to just get rid of one zombie. If you stealth kill them, that would be the easiest way. But if you're going up head to head, they have the ability to grab you. And once they grab you, you get two options. You can either try to fight them off by repeatedly stabbing them in the head, which takes a lot of energy and also takes down some of your health. Or you could shove them off, which takes more health. Doesn't really make sense, but it takes more health, and the zombie is still alive when you get done. So you'll have to make these decisions every time you get grabbed by a zombie. And if you're particularly low on health, once a zombie grabs you, you will immediately go down. And you will immediately go down and just hope that one of your friends are friendly enough to come and revive you. But yes, that provides an interesting dynamic to where if you do get swarmed by a horde, it's hard to say that word sometimes. Horde. If you do get swarmed by a horde, you will be presented an option which every time a zombie grabs you, you can shove them off and continue running or do whatever you do. But it will take more of your health. That is the sacrifice for getting away, because otherwise there is like no method for dealing with them if you're caught in the middle. You can't hack and slash your way out. You can't just blow all your bullets on a horde of zombies unless you have a particular assault rifle with a lot of ammo. But these hordes are huge and they will attack anyone in its path. So, if you're true to The Walking Dead, you can even use them to attack your human enemies. Because when enemies fire bullets, that fills up the hordometer too. And the zombies will just walk around. Hey Joe. What? You hear that? Yeah, I know, man. The hordometer's going off. It's time to eat some faces. I prefer the thigh meat. Let's go. That's what I imagine happens whenever zombies hear a noise or something like that. Now that I think about it, if I had to eat a human, what part of the body would I go for first? Definitely wouldn't be the face. I think I would honestly go with the butt cheeks. Unless they're like super hairy. But like if you got like a nice clean shaven butt cheek, it's got like a load of fat in there, like depending on how big, like a nice like black girl's butt cheeks. That would be like the part that you want to eat first, because it feels like it has the most filling part and the least amount of bone to get in your way. But I'm just saying, recommendation for if any of you ever turn into zombies, just go for that booty meat. That's super unrelated to the game. But anyway, you go down, your teammates can revive you. You get up to 3 times, and if you get down the 3rd time, you die immediately. Once you die, there is a specific set amount of time you get before you can revive next to one of your friends. And each time you die, it gets longer and longer, so the mission becomes harder and harder to accomplish. So, try not to set off hordes unless you are strategically using them for your enemies. Try to stick to some stealth mode gameplay by having one of your scouts like seek out the enemies, then having another one of your quiet-footed fellers go up in there and just try to take them out quietly with a little shake from behind, all Hitman style. But indeed, GameCrate.com has reported that it is not so easy being stealthy in this game, as the human AI don't really react as they should in other games. Instead of like other games where you make a little bit of noise, they go, huh, what was that? If you make a little bit of noise in this game, they go, fire! And you know, that might make it a little hard to stealth, which at that point, when they start opening fire because they're a bunch of dumbasses, the hordometer will fill up, and the zombies will be like, you know what, Fred? I'm gonna give me some lot booty meat. I guess that is okay for now. They'll probably fix that sooner or later. But the emphasis of this game is that teamwork is the key, and teamwork is the way to go. Communicate with your team partners, strategize a practical way to take out all your enemies and accomplish your mission, and then get the freak out of there, get back to your camp to where you can upgrade and do it all over again. And that seems like it could be pretty fun given the right circumstances. Final thoughts, the game looks gorgeous. From what I can see, it does a great job of environmental storytelling like a lot of zombies do, that like I really appreciate when like put in this vast open world where this entire place has been wrecked. So it's nice to discover like what happened to some of the people through discoveries in the environment. But anyway, it is now hype rating time! Overkill's The Walking Dead gets a 6. Said I am going to be very down to play this game. Said probably not on PC because me myself, so I usually choose to play my games on PlayStation if I ever get the choice. But as the PC version comes out next month, the console version doesn't come out till about February. That's kind of saddening, but we'll see what happens. The game looks pretty great. This looks like a world that's easily to get really invested into and to like invoke a huge amount of hours into this game. For any of you that played State of Decay 2, which came out earlier this year, it's a very similar concept where you get invested in all of these characters that you have, and that you have to manage them, control them, and make sure they survive this terrible zombie apocalypse. But unlike State of Decay, in this one you can get into it with your friends and rule the zombie apocalypse together. The only problem that I see happening is that I'm 20 years old, right? And all my friends, they're like all in that range of area of like 18 to 24. So, and at this point in our lives, we're not exactly financially stable. So it might be a little difficult to get 3 of my friends to invest $60 in this game. To invest in this game that's mainstream, but not super mainstream. It might make me wait a second for the price to drop down just so I can play a little co-op with my friends. But it's interesting to see that the PR for this game like isn't particularly huge. Like I haven't really seen it advertised in many other places besides YouTube, so I'm not sure how many people actually know about this game. But the internet seems like they're having pretty good feelings about it, and so am I. The Walking Dead is a very special universe to me, as I can get really invested in any of their stories, whether that be the TV show, Telltale's version, or maybe even this version, or Makai Vega's version of The Walking Dead where I see a zombie and I immediately run away. I can get invested in all of it. And the thing about these post-apocalyptic games that I really like, you would never expect the amount of drama and like deep, emotional, intense character development that happens within these games. And I hope that this game really gets into the nitty-gritty of character development, not as in character progression, but as in character emotional development, as they evolve their mental brains to try to adapt to this new crazy world. And the gameplay feels really realistic and reasonable. A few nitpicky things that I can point out here and there. I suppose that will all be addressed by the time the real game comes out and the beta is over. And without like any like super real information on the story, besides the fact that you're in this camp that's being run by this guy named Alexander, I believe, and you were like feuding with this other camp. There's not really much that they've given us about the story so far, but as far as I can tell, the main point of this game is to how like this big city of Washington DC got to the point of where it is today. And you'll discover that by environmental storytelling, going out and discovering secrets like hidden away. I can see myself getting invested in this game somewhere down the line, not to the point of like video game addiction. I'm sure many of you all know what that means, but I can definitely see myself getting invested, playing through this game, and very much enjoying myself. But with all that being said, do you agree with my hype score? Do you not agree with my hype score? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, go ahead, pop up, look at that like button, stare at it, then just punch it in the face. So make sure you board the hype train today by hitting that subscribe button and following us as we discover all things hype. Next week's game.
We live in a world of assassins. And the best of them all is Agent 47.
There's a little game by the name of Hitman 2. I would like to thank you all so much for watching this episode of Hype Train, and until next time, Hype Train, baby. Wit!
Give me some of that booty meat. Give me some of that booty meat. Oh.
God shit. Yeah.